Our story begins on a tense, silent night. Tiwa locks herself in a room with her cousin Viola, both women anxiously waiting for the result of a pregnancy test. Tiwa hopes it's negative, not because of the pregnancy itself, but because she hates Viola's boyfriend Francis. She tells Viola that Francis isn't a good man. Viola, however, defends him. She says he's sweet, caring, and he loves her. But just then, a knock. It's Francis. Viola quickly hides the test in a drawer and lies, saying she's just putting on makeup. Tiwa opens the door and leaves them. Alone, Francis tells Viola to hurry up. They're running late. He kisses her cheek, then coldly reminds her to cover her bruises. That's when we realize Viola is hiding more than a pregnancy. She's hiding abuse. Later that night, Francis is sitting on the bed drinking. Viola walks in and asks why he's upset. He didn't get the promotion he'd worked years for. Instead, his female boss gave it to another woman. He's furious, bitter, shouting. Viola tries to calm him with affection, but when he opens the drawer looking for a condom, he finds the pregnancy test. She tells him it came out negative. But Francis doesn't calm down. Instead, he explodes, yelling that he's not ready for a baby, that he's broke. Viola tries to explain that she agrees. She doesn't want a child either. But Francis twists her words, accusing her of mocking him, of calling him a failure. The anger turns physical. He punches her, again and again. But this time, she fights back. She grabs pepper spray and blasts it into his eyes. Then she runs. Alone, bruised, and on the street, a stranger approaches her, mistaking her for a prostitute. Viola firmly tells him off, and he walks away, hurling insults. Then fate intervenes. A lost traveler named Alvin stops to ask for directions. Viola offers to walk him to his destination in exchange for a favor. A call to her cousin, Tiwa. When Tiwa doesn't answer, Alvin insists on driving Viola there himself. Back at Tiwa's, she nurses Viola's wounds, not just on her skin, but in her heart. She tells her cousin that she deserves better. Viola hesitates. She still believes Francis loves her, but Tiwa takes her to the mirror and says, "If someone loves you, they don't raise their hand against you." The next day, Francis finds Viola packing her things. He begs, he kneels, he pleads, but Tiwa stands her ground. "Touch her again, and you'll deal with me." Viola walks away from the man who broke her. Weeks pass. Viola tries to rebuild her life, but Francis sabotages her work. Clients she gained through him suddenly cancel their contracts. She's devastated, until Alvin returns. He offers her a new opportunity, a hotel renovation through his friend, Yerima. Viola is hesitant, but Alvin speaks for her, praises her talent, and Yerima agrees to hire her. The job goes well. To thank Alvin, Viola invites him for dinner. The night is warm. They eat, they laugh. Alvin praises her cooking. Viola confides in him. She's applying for a big project that could change her life. He wishes her luck. They share a moment, a real, tender moment. Then, a kiss. But when Alvin steps away and Viola sees his phone, her heart drops. His profile picture shows him in a military uniform. Viola freezes. Her last relationship was full of violence. She can't risk it again. When Alvin returns, she's cold, distant. She tells Tiwa what happened. Tiwa urges her not to judge Alvin too quickly, but Viola's mind is made up. Later, Alvin finds her at work. He confronts her about the sudden silence. She tells him the truth, that her last partner was abusive, and she's terrified of getting close to someone in uniform. Alvin listens. He tells her, "I'm not him. I'll never hurt you. Military men protect. We keep our promises." She's not sure yet, but something in his eyes feels different. They go on a second dinner. He comforts her when she breaks down. She tells him she's afraid of being touched, that she was made to feel worthless. Alvin says she's worth everything, and for the first time, she starts to believe it. He waits patiently, encourages therapy, even takes her there. Week after week, Alvin stands by her side. Their bond grows. Then one day, a test. Positive. Viola is pregnant. Joy turns to worry when the doctor shares difficult news. Due to damage to her abdominal tissues from past beatings, her pregnancy is high risk. The pain could be unbearable. Stress must be avoided. Viola is crushed by devastating news. She wonders aloud. Why do bad things always happen to her? And why does Francis keep hunting her, even after their breakup? Her friend Tiwa tries to lift her spirits, urging her to stay positive. Meanwhile, Alvin confronts Francis at his place. Furious, Alvin blames Francis for putting Viola's pregnancy at risk. He warns, if anything happens to her, he will come after him. But Francis, cold and arrogant, dismisses Alvin, saying he's forgotten who Viola is, and that Alvin should never bring up her name again. Angry beyond measure, Alvin hands his phone and watch to Tiwa, then launches into a fight with Francis. Back home, Viola looks in the mirror, complaining about her weight gain. Alvin reassures her with a smile. It's pregnancy fat, and she'll be back to normal soon. But then Alvin receives a call. He's being deployed with his military unit, leaving Friday for 6 long months. Viola begs him not to go, telling him she can't do this alone. She needs him, the baby needs him. Alvin reminds her he never asked for deployment, that he made a solemn oath to serve his country, and he must honor it. He promises to come back in one piece. The next morning, Viola receives a flower at her office, a loving gesture from Alvin, reminding her that she doesn't like to fight alone. That evening, Alvin takes her to her favorite hotel for dinner. He explains that if he doesn't go, he'll lose his job. Before leaving, Viola gives him her necklace for luck, asking him to return it when he comes back. Days turn to weeks. Viola prays daily for Alvin's safety. They call and pray together. And soon, Viola shares the joyful news. They're having a boy. Alvin celebrates, proud he was right all along. But then something changes. One day, Viola finds a soldier in their home. Alvin limping, hands bandaged. She tends to him gently, urging him to rest. He returns her necklace. Later, Tiwa finds Alvin lost in thought, water overflowing in the kitchen sink, completely unaware. She calls him several times with no response. Finally, Alvin assures her he's fine. Tiwa shares a story about her own father, a loving man who changed after his last mission, becoming distant and violent. She sees the same haunted look in Alvin's eyes and warns Viola. Alvin needs help before it's too late. At the hospital, Alvin takes Tiwa for a checkup. The doctor notes her medication is working, but also sees something troubling. Alvin's dangerously high blood pressure. Alvin refuses further tests, but Viola insists he take them. On their balcony, Viola shares the doctor's diagnosis. Alvin has PTSD and needs therapy. Alvin dismisses it, insisting he's fine. Later, Viola finds a bottle of alcohol in the trash but ignores it. She pleads with Alvin to take his prescribed medication. He agrees reluctantly.
One night, Alvin wakes to fireworks and, in panic, grabs his gun, fearing an attack. Viola reassures him it's just Christmas celebrations. She realizes Alvin desperately needs help. The next morning, Alvin tries to talk to Viola, but she shuts him down, telling him he's been different and acting strange since his return. She admits she's terrified and needs him to get help. For the first time, Alvin loses his temper and shouts, saying he doesn't need help, that he's been through worse missions before. Hours later, he apologizes. Viola tells him the only apology she wants is for him to seek help. She reminds him how he once encouraged her to see a therapist when she was devastated. Now it's his turn. She promises to be there for him. At their next checkup, Viola reveals she's been in pain and stressed. The doctor warns that her condition has worsened, making her resistant to medication. Increasing medication might risk the baby, and stress will only make things worse. Back home, Viola finds Alvin drinking alcohol. She takes the bottle from him, worried and pleading for him to get help. Their argument triggers Viola's own trauma memories of abuse at the hands of Francis flood back. Alvin comes to his senses and apologizes, but Viola packs her bags and leaves, telling him she never wants to see him again. Alvin races after her, begging her to stay, promising he would never hurt her. But Viola is resolute. She leaves him behind. At the hospital, Tiwa and Alvin hear the news. Viola's body is in shock, and labor must be induced prematurely by cesarean section. Tiwa warns Alvin if anything happens to Viola, she will never forgive him. The baby arrives. Alvin holds his son with joy. Viola wakes and asks him to leave. She doesn't want to see him. Shocked but powerless, Alvin departs. Tiwa gives Viola their baby to hold. Haunted by guilt and pain, Alvin spirals into depression, drowning his sorrows in alcohol. He begs Tiwa to let him see Viola, but she insists he must heal first. Meanwhile, Viola confides in Tiwa, crying, her baby doesn't deserve a broken family, a mother and father fighting. Tiwa comforts her, reminding her she's not a failure. Whatever happens, she will be there even if it means raising the baby alone. Viola prays for her family, asking God to protect Alvin and their child. One night, Viola wakes from a nightmare, terrified something bad will happen to Alvin. She rushes to his home only to find him holding a gun, ready to end it all. She begs him to put the gun down. Alvin breaks down, revealing his pain, the horrors of war, the loss of friends, the trauma of failure, and the haunting screams in his mind. Viola calls him a hero and pleads for him to stay for their baby, for their family. She promises to be his strength. Alvin agrees to get help. Months later, Alvin starts therapy and slowly begins to heal. One night, fireworks light up the sky again, but Alvin remains calm, no longer shocked. The story ends with Viola preparing breakfast, while Alvin looks at a picture of his wife, a symbol of hope and new beginnings. Thank you for watching this powerful story about love, loss, and recovery. If you've ever faced challenges like Alvin and Viola, remember, help is always there and healing is possible. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more stories like this. See you in